Coming up on Mountain News this morning, state leaders prepare to respond to the dangerous conditions this winter storm can bring, and we share some tips on how you can stay safe and warm.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Almost 5 o'clock here on this very busy Friday morning. I'm Dakota Makris. Thank you so much for waking up with us. And let's head right on over to Brandon Robinson for a look at this bitterly cold temps. Brandon, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dakota. It's been a busy overnight. Things have kind of started to calm down in some respects this morning when it comes to the snow falling, but it's still out there in a lot of areas. Let's take you on a tour this morning. We'll start with the satellite radar loop for the last 6 hours, and it really came crashing in there overnight. Temperatures have taken a dive bomb this morning, and still a few flakes out there flying, but the bulk of the snow for now has moved down. We take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar, and you see again a few streaks of snow in the eastern counties. Still maybe some heavier bands out there, but you folks to the west starting to slow down just a little bit. There could be a little bit more today, but right now we are looking a little bit drier. Visibility is rough this morning. You see everybody pretty much below 5 miles. Still have several sensors out this morning. So again, we're trying to get those back online. Snow on Buffalo Mountain here in Perry County. 9 degrees at the Hazard Airport, the Wendell Ford Airport. I'm sure it's a little colder here in those valleys this morning. We go up on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain. You can see traffic moving very slowly up there, and they don't need to be on the roads at all. Road conditions are very bad across the region. Snow-covered roads there. Jenkins, a little bit better shape there going up US 119, US 23, but still travel not advised this morning as you head out the door. When you look at the current temperatures, Lexington and Louisville are below zero right now. They're in the negative temperatures out there this morning, and you see a lot of single digits. We're going to continue to drop here for the next couple of hours, getting close to zero before everything is said and done. Of course, the warmest spots in the region this morning are typically our coldest spots. 19 in Clintwood, 16 in Logan, and 14 in Wise. Everybody else is 10 or below. Morehead's at 1 this morning. Feels like 20 below zero at London right now, 19 below zero with the wind chill at Morehead, 16 below at Irvin, 14 below at Jackson. Prestonsburg, Ashland, Hazard all feel like 11 below, and Logan feels like 2 below out there this morning. Temperature difference more than 40 degrees colder than it was this time yesterday morning in many areas, and you can see where the front is still passing through there. Again, a little bit warmer than this time yesterday, or not warmer, but a little bit less colder than this time yesterday. There you go. I'll get that here in a second. Current temperature statewide, everybody west of I-75 is basically below zero. That's actual air temperatures. The only exception is Nashville at 3 above right now, and temperatures continue to drop. So the coffee meter, if you absolutely have to be out, make sure you're dressed in layers. Make sure that you're getting all the coffee. Make sure that you don't have any exposed skin, and be extra careful. Please, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. Out the door forecast, we're going to stabilize a little bit later on, but you see we're in the single digits all day, maybe getting back to about 6. But when you factor in that wind chill, it's going to stay between 20 and 30 below all day long. Dakota?
All right, Brennan, thank you so much. Well, we're facing a bone-chilling weekend here in the Commonwealth after the temperatures dropped quickly overnight. As our weather team has said, it's mainly the cold and the wind that's the main issue with this storm, but ice is still a big issue in some areas. Now, for our employees' safety, we don't want them to be outside for long, so we have our Keaton Hall coming to us live from our front porch here in Hazard. Keaton.
Thanks, Dakota. Yeah, the salt trucks, the snow plows are going by right now. And as you said, we were going to go somewhere. We were going to get footage of a busy intersection, or not necessarily busy intersection, but it's just too dangerous. There's a thin sheet of ice everywhere, and the snow plows are out, and I'll get out of the way and we can take a zoom in on it. But there's just a thin sheet of ice, and the snow plows are trying to get it, but they just can't. I think I saw the first couple runs this morning. They get the top layer of snow, but underneath that is just about a 1/4 inch of solid ice, and it is not something to mess with. I've got a 4-wheel drive truck, so I was okay, but it's not just the ice on the roads. It's getting so cold that the ice on the cars is just freezing the doors shut. It took me 30 minutes to get any sort of ice off my windshield. And it's not just the ice, it's also how cold it is. It is bitterly cold, as Brandon was saying. Last night it was around 28 degrees at 2 a.m. Right now it's about 5. Real feels much, much lower. And I'm sure we'll be covering that. Brandon will have more all throughout the morning as it just gets colder. Dakota.
All right, Keaton, thank you so very much, and hopefully see you back here at 6:30. Well, state leaders have been preparing to respond to the storm and the brutally cold weather. State emergency management leaders activated their command center, waiting to see what reactive response will be needed. The director of the Kentucky Emergency Management says we could be seeing things that we haven't seen in decades that may occur and that they've not responded to in past winter storms. This is why the Emergency Management Operations Center has been activated.
So we're watching those things like power as well, and as needed, we'll deploy more people in. But currently, we're staffed with those key partners that are keeping the roadways clean, the roadways safe.
Well, the state has been particularly paying attention to conditions for families living in travel trailers here in the mountains, making sure they have resources to be comfortable or be relocated if needed. And with the bitter cold already here, there are some things you need to know for when you are home. Make sure you have some flashlights and fresh batteries for them. It's also a good idea to keep water for drinking and cooking. Officials say to have camping equipment such as sleeping bags, camp stoves, and lanterns, and maintain some non-perishable foods such as canned meats or tuna, and a manual can opener. Keep over-the-counter medication handy and have your cell phone charged. And here are some tips you need to consider if you are traveling to and from your destination today. Officials urge you to not travel unless you absolutely have to. Make sure your car is capable of handling the treacherous conditions. Check the battery, antifreeze, heater defroster, and wipers. And to keep at least 2/3 of fuel in your gas tank, and have your headlights on when visibility decreases. And just to show you how dangerous roads are right now, we have a video new this morning from the Whitley County Sheriff's Department. This was taken on I-75 between the Tennessee state line and mile marker 25, where the deputy shown is blocking a lane for a non-injury crash. Deputies say there is a thin layer of ice covering the majority of this road. You can see just how covered the road is and how slick it is because of the ice and the snow that covered our region overnight. And this is exactly why we say that staying home is the best option if you think about traveling during the winter storm. We've already had multiple crashes in our region this morning. And the governor wanted every county to open a warming center. We have a list of those locations over on WYMT.com. You can also find closings on our website and our news app. And you can stay weather aware with the WYMT First Alert weather app. You can scan this QR code to download or search for it in your app store. It gives you the latest weather alerts and radar, and it works with cell phone data if you lose power or Wi-Fi. Well, thank you so much for getting your Friday morning started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up next, states across the country see major issues as the winter storm impacts millions of people.
And those sub-zero wind chills and cold temperatures will linger all day and into the night as well. I'll have the latest in about 3 minutes.